My parents never taught me about finances. If they did, then I'd be financially successful much, much earlier. But no. If I let this train of thought continue, then it would take over my whole life and I'd lose complete ownership of it. Sure, where you are now has a lot to do with your upbringing, with the cards that you've been dealt early on in life, and so on. That explains your history. But explanations and excuses are two different things. And mixing these two things up will lead you to global failure. You may not have had the best start in life. Perhaps you were poor. Perhaps you couldn't afford the best education. Maybe your boss is a tyrant, or your boyfriend cheated on you, or your business partner stole your entire life savings. And definitely all of those things took a toll on you, and they explain in part why you had such a rough time. But it can go two ways from here. One is sliding into what's called learned helplessness, which is a state of passive behavior and perceived lack of control over situations, which develops after repeated exposure to unavoidable and negative events. This concept was first described by psychologists Martin Seligman and Stephen F. Meyer in the late 1960s. The theory of learned helplessness suggests that when individuals believe that they have no control over their environment and that their actions are futile, they may develop a sense of helplessness and may become passive in the face of challenges or adversity. This learned helplessness can occur in various areas of life, including personal relationships, work, and education. And learned helplessness can be aggravated by a victimhood mindset. A victimhood mindset is a mindset where you perceive yourself as a victim and believe that external forces or circumstances are primarily responsible for your current situation or problems. It involves adopting a passive and helpless attitude, often seeking empathy and validation from others while downplaying personal agency or responsibility. If you have any traces of learned helplessness or victimhood mindset, then it's time to toss these out of the window because these will ruin your life. So those are the culprits. But now, instead of surrendering to them, take that learned helplessness and victimhood mindset and discard them. By doing that, you are taking the first step towards taking ownership of your life. Taking ownership of your life means accepting responsibility for your actions, choices, and the outcomes they produce. This means that you take ownership of where you are in your life right now, regardless of who else is to blame or who caused it by either doing or not doing something. Your life is your responsibility. And if you want it to become better, then it's you who has to take action. This mindset of taking ownership is extremely powerful because it means that you are now in the driver's seat and that you are not at the mercy of someone else's action or inaction.